Yeah, sure.
So we are, the following is a Nargargole Shlod, are Gziz, Gzasl, Mzi, Mul, Lener, Fulm, Lum, Merks, Lzwvmmh video called My Story, Eckankar Mystery Part 2. I have some of the other ones up, but my official organized Eckankar membership story is 45 parts, but there are other things from inside and outside the membership. As long as people don't blaspheme, swear, and insult, I personally support your right to believe or disbelieve whatever you want and express that. Hugh is meant to be a non-directed prayer. Ek, if not Eniod, corporate kinesis, Eniod is in 9, seems to be the universal word for anything spiritual and allows for many interpretations of the same thing. I recently did a video that mentions how humanity is thought to be the destroyer. I personally do not agree with the victim blaming or you deserved all your hardship speech that is usually part of New Age karma speech.
Exactly.
Eckankar teaches that time as a member following or accepting spiritual laws and initiation grants skill and alleviates results. Once a person gets the hang of it, the different levels and their conception of the lower worlds is no harder to work through than any projection. And so I am here with let me find the virtual. I'm here with Lzwvmmh,
also known as Axaru, sitting here outside in nature.
And so
Jafar. Hello.
So Eckankar is one of those groups that was at its biggest back in the 80s. It started in 1965. And so Paul Twitchell, he started this group. He was the number 3 member. He was this number 3 person in Scientology. He was set to Kirpal Singh and another. He was set to succeed Kirpal Singh, but it wasn't happening. But Kirpal Singh wasn't giving him as much of the authority as he wanted. And there was another Indian guru he was also connected with, which again didn't give enough. So he started his own religion following the Scientology model in that respect. That I can make more money selling my writings as a religion than I can as some pulp writer for newspapers and stuff like this.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's thought to be over 300 published things that he did over the years, but it's hard to. But there's not access to most of Paul Twitchell's individual writings but he rewrote things for Eckankar, and. Back in 1983, if you look it up, there's an episode of the Twilight, not 1983, 1963. And there's an episode of the Twilight Zone.
1883 or
1963. There was an episode of the Twilight Zone called "Behold Ek," and that is the spelling E-E-K.
Yeah, I think I've heard about Twilight Zone.
So. What I think the whole Ek thing means is they talk about the 9 silent ones. So Eniod is E, C is corporate because they set the whole thing up as a corporation, and kinesis is that it's it's a mind control thing because as you see that here I have the thing are the only remaining ones psychological. So Nargargole Shlod had 6 videos up. And I don't know where all the comments are, but some of them I've already done videos on. So as time goes on, I'll probably have all 6 videos up for that. But my comment, they're all. It's my comment. It's not his videos, like this whole playlist is. But obviously, it makes sense if that's a new age group that he actually found something with. These if well, I don't want to mention the don't want to mention the channel, but
No.
it's what we you know, we have you know, you have the mental worlds, and then the physical world is kind of off the thing. I don't know why it cuts off the edge of the backgrounds. It cuts off the top and the bottom, and
yeah, it does. Yeah,
maybe even the side. I don't know what that's about.
Yeah, that's strange. Probably Zoom has set it up that way just so people can't properly show things.
Well, one of the things
that's frustrating shit out
is they have stronger privacy rules if you're a paid member. But if I'm not doing if I'm not doing calls with 3 or more members, why should I be paying?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's free, and it's like honestly it's generally they're probably getting something out of everybody using their system on the lower end too. So
okay. Yeah. Huh.
But I was on a call yesterday.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
What did I what was it called? I haven't written in my journal what it was called. There was the name of the meeting. It was a Shadaliya Sufi order meeting led from Jerusalem. And so the guy, it was led from Jerusalem, and it was called The Voice of Peace from the Land of Peace. That was the name of the
Voice of Peace from the Land of Peace. Oh, so, that sounds like Jerusalem.
So it was a because Jerusalem, Yarshalom, Land of Peace, Land of Wholeness, but
okay, so there was a connection there. All right.
But one of the things, so I was pleased, you know, so I attended that meeting, and I was one of the people who did it. I mean, the Shadaliya order. I guess it's the smaller one, because I think one of the things that happened is, I guess, more of the people went into this following this guy that was like, he did get a psychology degree, but a lot of the psychologists, it's like pop psychology rather than depth or authentic psychology.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like, oh, if you dream of this, then it's you know, it's
exactly.
And the psychologist, just like a tarot card reader, that's your typical tarot card reader, is going to try trying to make you into rather than saying the spirits are guiding me. They're like, oh well, my you know, this school of psychological thought is saying that you must be this.
Exactly. Yeah.
So they typically don't teach people to read themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so
that's my definition of psychology, if you ask me. But,
well, Buddhism is like religion. A lot of Buddhism is that's like basically not quite religion, but it's like, and it's not quite psychology. It's like something in between.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And a lot of paths has become like that. And now I kind of questioned this thing. I mean, Luciferianism is not quite that, but you know what? A lot of people that say they're Luciferian, it's like they're enacting. If you don't believe that these things are gods, why are you why are you treating them like they're gods for some ceremony and all this other stuff? You're just acting like you're a worshiper of them, but you're not really.
Yeah. I've seen that one. Yeah. We have all of them. We have them all around Facebook.
Are it becomes a disguised Satanism? It's like they don't want to admit they're Satanists, so they say they're Luciferian. It's like, oh, I call on demons all the time, but I don't worship them. It's like, and then you hear what they do.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so I understand some of the stuff that people say, because it's like, if you're you let yourself speak to yourself. Oracles. You let yourself speak to yourself.
Okay.
You include it in your spiritual thing, but if you're shuffling the deck of cards thinking that it falls in this order, or I've rolled the dice and it came out to 9 today.
They go about it the wrong way. Yeah.
They treat it like it's a god giving them a message. It's like you shuffled the deck yourself.
Oh yeah. I think I'm guilty of that one myself. Thank you. Yeah. Okay.
But
is it the same with Ouija boards and stuff like that? That you told me last time when I asked you that it's basically you are directing it all yourself, in a way.
Well, the oracle, it comes
the oracle,
through you. It's like dreams and stuff. You shouldn't jump. There are dreams from other beings. I'm not saying that.
Okay,
I'm not saying
okay.
that.
But you shouldn't jump there immediately.
I'm not saying that some these things won't connect to a person's mind and soul and communicate with them regarding these things. But the physical side of it, it's all on the human beings are doing the physical side of the thing.
Okay, yeah. Wow, interesting. Never
and it's like astrology. Astrology is so varied that it's like it's like Vedic astrology. I've studied Vedic astrology, and Vedic astrology, it seems like everything in its opposite is always contained in the chart.
Okay.
So if they know about you, they're going to read your chart differently. There was a study in India where they read like 200 people's charts. And these 200 people's charts, it turned out they were less accurate than a guess. They only got people who were professional readers and stuff like this for like 40 years and stuff like this.
Okay.
So it's people who made a living for decades. Or at least accented their living for decades doing this stuff. And they were less accurate than chance. And Eckankar is a group that tries to get people towards being better than chance. But that's not the same thing as being a prophet. It's like you're a prophet because you decided to be a prophet.
Exactly.
You can be better than chance because it's like you learn political situations, you know about yourself and all that stuff.
Exactly. You take destiny in your own hands.
So there becomes an issue. Like it's one thing to think of on different levels because particularly being autistic, I mean, one of the skills is you can think on different levels when other people aren't thinking on different levels. That's a pretty standard thing. How exactly that plays out for an individual varies, but you know, you got your sensual and your emotional and your memory and your mind and your intuition, and you have your soul and spirit and you know that side of the realms. And they're certainly distinct, but obviously your mind operating your body and your soul operating your mind and you know that sort of stuff. It's not like you're detached. It's not like it's like one of the things that someone was saying on my you know a comment on a picture that you may have seen. Scientifically, you can't refute the idea of a spiritual existence. You can't.
Okay.
That doesn't make sense. But one of the things that happens is that the best spiritual experiences, like you know, I was on a Sufi meeting. They didn't really discuss this. My question was regarding experiences. So I don't know if my question is going to be in some video that's available for the public or something because they're doing this teaching thing. And so the question and answer thing is included. Whatever, maybe it'll be findable. But which is why you have to be really careful with with what appears on your screen and all this other stuff because whether it's officially recorded or not, you know, it's and you don't want them I don't want Microsoft reading all my papers and all.
No, no, you don't want that. No.
So just in case, so it never happens, and it's more than just editing a video. It's you know. But so so my question was in regard to a certain verse that talks about the emotion that talks about the you can say the sensual and the psychiatric high of the believer or something. And my question was how to direct having one sort of that experience towards or having another sort of that experience. And
what was the answer?
I think maybe I knew more about the subject than he did because I knew I didn't list them out, but for example, I found 33 different narrations that teach how to better experience the contact ritual and stuff and other stuff like that. So, you know, because their word for prayer translates.
Okay.
Oh, did you not?
You were cut off for a while. Hello?
Yeah, I can
hear you. Yeah, all right.
So their word for prayer translate, and like a lot of Semitic languages, which you miss in the Bible. You miss in the Bible. There's this root, the root sluh, and you know, so salah is this prayer it's ritual prayer, but it means making contact.
Okay, shlah. All right.
So it sounds like sounds like something in some alien story, making
Yeah.
contact.
Okay. Yeah.
But so there's certain
Mhm.
stuff like if you got to go to the bathroom first, go to the bathroom first. If
Okay.
watching your
Yeah.
sleep and don't overstuffing yourself, and maybe you want to do maybe you don't want to run to the ritual and all this other stuff, but
Yeah.
so because it talks about the how the heart moves, which as you may know in
Oh.
and
How the heart moves.
so
Interesting.
emotional and mental at the same time, because the heart is also a reference to the mind in those languages. So it's a typical
Okay. Yeah, I've heard that.
of the
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
guess
that's a
that
cultural
stems
thing.
from Northeast Africa with ancient Egyptians and stuff, because they use that
Okay.
same way of speaking.
All right. I didn't know that. Interesting.
Because
Oh, wow.
because a lot of languages we use now that are actually out of Africa have descent from parts of stuff that they got from the
Oh,
Egyptians.
okay. That's a very scientific view, I must say.
So, and it talked about, of course, the flesh, so the sensual eyes. And I've tried to experience all sorts of stuff.
Wow.
And
You have?
so I've you can look up on WebMD and it will tell you what drug they think you're overdosing on or something like this, or
Okay. Yeah.
but the thing is,
yeah.
when you're not high on drugs and it's through mysticism, it comes off a lot different.
Okay.
So it's like sometimes it's like taking an opiate, sometimes it's like an amphetamine, sometimes it's like your face is numb, like you were in the dentist. Sometimes that's just by itself, but sometimes you're like not pleasantly numb, but it's like there's a rush at the same time.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Uh-huh. So you've experienced those states with the substances or without them?
Without the substances, but you can say okay, what? Yeah, never. This other comment that's part of my email here: never condemn something without actually knowing what you were condemning.
That's right. Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. Huh. Somebody did that, or?
No. Well, that's it's just part of my comment. I will listen to scholars of all sorts, but I do not believe we should have to wait. Till whether or not a scholar approves. If we got the evidence or whatnot, maybe they figured something out that we haven't. But honestly, waiting for them to approve of things, that's kind of like
that's the problem.
Stereotypically of what it's like the phrase Judaizing isn't really like hate speech. It's really referring to like the rabbinical way of things. And I'm going.
So they said it hate speech, or?
I mean, some people may consider it hate speech to speak of, but really, the rabbis writing in all those rules, if you've ever picked up a Talmud, it's like they can say don't obey the Torah, but they don't say don't obey the Torah. They say this because of this, because of this, because of this, and you flip a page or two, and then it tells you to break the commandment. I've literally found I stopped in at a Hebrew school, and they had this huge set of books, which was the Talmud. So they had I don't know how many sets of books, but they had a whole wall that was just book after book after book. And so I was in the reading room reading the thing, and they were.
I guess you enjoyed it.
And I like the fact that I can find
that.
and that's one of the things that people have said is is that
you belong here.
That if you study Talmud, you'll find even more reasons to condemn the Jews than ever before.
So you came in that. Was that the purpose you came into it for, or?
Well, my purpose isn't to condemn or approve or whatnot, but it's whatever the case is.
Okay.
I mean, you got something that's 1.3 million words, and it's a big thing, and the rabbis put in all this other stuff. It's like a lot of this, what people call a cult, descends from what the rabbis did in opposition to what their base religions.
Wow, that's Kabbalah. They say it's from
their base. Their base religion. Their base religion doesn't approve of that stuff, but they do it anyways.
It does.
the charms and the amulets and the fortune telling with and saying that this symbolism is one thing, but when you let the symbolism rule you. And what if somebody gets your astrological chart astrological chart wrong in what positions the planets are in,
or the tarot,
and then they judge you based on that.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. It's just a symbol, you know. Don't take it literally.
So it's whatever people put their whatever beliefs people put into it or take out of it. That's just that's their own choosing. So I come up with with my own poems, but I'm not like, oh no, I have to do this or not do this just because it's in the thing. I have my own ethics and experience, and that's going to be put into things. It's like some of my poems you can't make sense. It's like if I make a poem about a passage, I may put something in there that's nothing to do with the passage. I mean, it's not nothing to do with the passage. It's my experience in the middle of it. Like you're going to see in my like if you I don't know how many you've watched. Some of my Nargargole Shlod comments.
I surely need to watch more of those.
Are my experience of not just a response, not just a summary of the video, not just my response to the video. It includes my response to the video, but it includes my response in terms of my own experience as I'm going along.
That's
so
what
I'm thinking and feeling, and especially some of those ones where he edited and all that stuff, and and I mean he the squiggling ones is like almost most of what he's done actually, I think. And the squiggling ones were the
the squiggling ones.
So some interesting stuff comes through there in terms of at least my interpretation. Some of it there's letters, and sometimes it seems like he ends up writing something or drawing something in the middle there, and he doesn't plan to.
It was fun watching those while you were under LSD. His writings or his drawings. Sorry, it turned very interesting. It's like he was creating his own universe there for a while.
So that's I guess one of the things with the Eckankar group is it systematizes consciousness. And since it systematizes consciousness, then you know.
Wow. Yeah, that's not a good thing, I guess.
No. Well, I mean, it forms a system of thinking about it. With it.
Then it's a good thing.
But one of the things that they do is, as I'm saying, how many of those meetings did I attend through the years? I mean, I could give you an official list because I did keep journals the whole time.
You do?
And I may over time actually have at least a short video about every meeting that I've ever been to or something like this without telling people's names or something like that. Like, you know.
Exactly. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But one of the things is that they never. It's like they certainly wanted me to pray to their 973 leaders.
They certainly wanted that. Yep.
But I never did. I never summoned them up. I never pictured these you know. I did have a couple of dreams where I encountered what could be said to me, but it was never because I was like trying very consciously trying to picture them or something. And all that.
All right.
I didn't call on their names. I didn't give them permission.
No, exactly.
I didn't give them permission, which I don't think it's necessarily like some guy in the 60s and then some guy in the 70s, 80s draws a bunch of cartoons filling in the pictures of the other spiritual leaders, because there was a guy, their second leader, under him, somebody made pictures of every single one of the mythical leaders and the two historical leaders at that point. And when he got kicked out of the organization, how can you kick out your prophet? How can you kick out your prophet? When the guy went to court back in when they went to court, the judge was like, you set it up as a corporation and the board voted you out. And you left with the one board member that the one board member that voted on his behalf. And started his own religion, you know. But you can't, you know, how's that make any sense? Somebody's supposed to be the spiritually gifted God's agent on earth or whatever it is. And what they get voted out in the corporate board meeting, and that's it. They don't have the prophetic gift anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Only in America, right? Or actually, not in America. All over the place, people fall for that stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They. Yeah. Oh fuck.
It's like I understand people people with Joseph Smith and Brigham Young, but after as the generations went on, that church, the church I was raised in, was just, you know, you make your way up the ranks in the church, and then you get supposedly called to be a prophet. And then they give you a salary, by the way, but they don't give you a salary early on, so at least they test you that way.
Okay. Yeah, that's a strange system.
Because most churches they pay the person to lead right off the bat.
Okay.
To the point where they live in a poor neighborhood, and they get twice as much as everybody else sometimes.
And it's a strange animal here distracting me. I don't know what. It sounds like a fucking bear or something. Yeah, no, sorry, go ahead.
So in short, as you see from the chart here, we have there's a list of different worlds, and certain things are supposed to happen on different worlds. Like at one point, there's supposed to be self-realization, and then God realization, and then imperishable realization are the basic 3 stages.
Okay, basic 3 stages. All right, yeah.
But rather than progressing as far as you have the experiences and you learn, this group, like every other New Age group, just proves how loyal, how useful that you are to their social or their outer social.
Yeah, useful. That's the word. Yeah, exactly.
How long you've been in the group? How long? You know, whatever. They'll move you up the ranks quicker if there's less members in your area, so they have enough people to lead the services officially or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, those officials. Yeah.
And honestly, the idea that the divine, you know, the zoom of being and the enjoyment of being and the uniting sound and the yes of sound, the yes current and stuff like that. These are thinking of these as all different gods and stuff like this. It doesn't make as much sense per se.
Yeah.
Oh, the true name. Oh, that's a different god than the nameless. Or it's like, and they have this interesting thing where like they don't they talk about Jot Neuron John or Cal Neuron John like it's the devil.
Oh, never heard about those names before.
Well, they're using Hindu cosmology, and some of it they don't pronounce right or whatever.
Okay.
But
do they understand what all these?
So they jumble some Farsi terms and stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah.
But one of the you know they. So and the color coding is not really how it works either. If you have a dream and it's filled with a lot of blue, it doesn't necessarily mean you're
in the sky.
You're on the higher or lower level versus one or the other.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the problem with symbolism, right? We, you know, they can limit our understanding of the world if we only see it in one way, so to speak.
Like even E.A. Quetting brings up this. Oh, if you just visualize white light.
Yeah.
It's like,
oh my, he's heavy into symbolism because it sells. You know, if people, all people see one thing at the same way, it kind of sells better in a way, or I don't know.
And
what's your thought?
And E.A. Quetting also, he's altered some Eckankar material for his own.
I bet he has, and he's selling it as his own too.
So instead of Satnam, he gives it Lzwvmmh or something like that. And he also he tells people basically picture the Eckankar or temple in Chanhassen, Minnesota, but he doesn't tell them that it's the Eckankar temple in Chanhassen, Minnesota.
Okay. What?
So he gives like a simple view of that, but denies it. But he does mention in a couple of his books, it sounds like, that he does know about Eckankar. He has mentioned in live streams that The Key to Secret Worlds by Paul Twitchell, but don't join the religion, basically.
Okay. That's a strange double message there.
So, you know, because it's because obviously the cult of worshiping of calling on Harold Klemp in your secret moments, and
Mhm.
or whoever is the leader.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to be the most spiritually advanced person in the world, you're obviously going to have to get past the point where you're hurting yourself to the point of not
Yeah.
talking and being bedridden because of what you ate.
Okay. Yeah.
If you know that you can't consume, it's like I saw there used to be a public access show where I spent most of my life, and they would replay episodes of, they would replay stuff from Eckankar conferences.
Okay.
And Harold Klemp said that he can't eat dairy, white bread, and chicken. And now I don't think it's chicken. I think it's the drugs that they give the chicken.
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking about dairy today, actually. You know, I bought this ice cream for the first time and in a long time, and I felt like something happened to my stomach, like just below the navel, or you know, above the navel, like a strange feeling. Like, have you ever had that? Like when eating dairy, like like your solar plexus chakra gets kind of, you know, it hurts there in a way.
Well,
I don't know why. Maybe it's the acid, or
I've had my share of.
And another thing I was thinking about, you know, when you train, and they call it, you know, lactic acid, like when you get tired, is that caused by the milk, lactic, or is that why we get tired, because we're eating milk, or maybe that's
most people have some level of reaction to dairy.
Okay.
If it's that sort of reaction, it's probably not the antibiotics or something. Because a lot of people, it does make a difference if you kick out all the antibiotics. But I'm going to have to drop that in case we go too far and they say, oh, it's medical advice. But really, it's biological reality. So we see the sort of things happening here. Like we have, you know, it's like they also interpret by sound. So they say what realm you are based on what sound you're dreaming or something like this. And it's like,
wow,
it's sort of a break from reality and interpret this way. Dividing your interpretation, yes, but acting like you're, oh, that's a mental thing and that's a physical thing. What? Because okay, like for example, I'm not gonna, I don't know how well I can imitate this by vocal sounds, but let's go.
Okay. What's that? I'm already surrounded by animals everywhere. You're making it worse.
And, you know, So, and anyways, like it shows on the chart, you're moving your way up, making different sounds.
What just happened?
Well, I'm trying to imitate what thunder, a roar of the sea, bells and water and bees and.
Oh, what? There was a lot of animals there at once. What?
So people will hear these sounds and they'll say this stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, I do agree that there is a distinct difference once you get to the once you get to soul.
Yeah.
But a lot of the soul of what these New Age groups say, it's like they're just labeling psychology soul. Now, it can be spiritual. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that spiritual exercises are certainly a physical thing. They're a physical thing. They're a mental thing. So definitely you're using that. But if you're going to experience soul for itself, like I had this experience when I was 18 years old. That after that I was never a Christian ever again. It's like my body, my mind, my emotions, my body, my thoughts, my emotions, my will, and my soul. My soul. I believed I had a soul, but until I was up on that trail. Doing ritual, even from a book, I didn't even memorize what I had. I just afterwards I said what I wanted, and I was answered. I was answered. I was answered by myself, basically. My body on the different my body, my mind said this, but it was like I'm not my body. I'm not my mind. I believe that, but I wasn't. You know. Believing and knowing are two different things.
Certainly is. And you can tell, you know, that the equating types, they have the knowing but not the experience to back it up. So but most people I think they can't see the difference between those two. Or what would you say?
well, believing something, yeah, you assert something. It's like what do people? I mean, the Eckankar people per se that may click on this video aren't going to like that I bring this up. But for example, you have the figure that we brought up here. Like for example, he was one of his early seminars back before he got big per se. You know, tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of views or something. I don't know. He got big quicker than a lot of people, but because certainly he had attention grabbing stunts, and I'm not sure half of his subscribers actually believe in him. It's not as bad. It's nowhere near the difference with you know, that this person's really, people are in it for the attention. They don't people believe it's like
this reeks of attention
the channel of the age. People don't really tend to believe that sort of thing, but but yeah, it's like there's, and after that I started having I never had any well, you know, post-traumatic stress disorder or something like that, but not the other type of nightmares. Other type of nightmares and stuff completely ended after that experience.
Okay.
So I have spent the last you know, I spent almost approaching 21 years without a single sort of, I guess, spiritually influenced nightmare or something. I don't have those anymore.
What? You don't?
I haven't had a single one since that experience.
What? And what was the experience again? Briefly say it again.
I was out on I was on an excursion with the group, and I stepped aside. I took out a book, and I took out a book. I did a ritual from a book, and after the ritual, I basically, you know, I supplicated how I wanted, and I had that breakthrough. I was like, I saw myself. I realized I saw that I realized through the vehicles of my sensual bodily side. I realized through the vehicle of my emotions and my thought and will, and all these were like different things that I was operating, but I wasn't even that. I was like something else. I was like something that's not even like the aura. You know, the aura is light, heat, moisture, and magnetism, and that's part of my experience with that sort of stuff. Furthers, like, I was never exposed to Eckankar before that sort of thing, because so I knew the game. Like, if you get into certain light, heat, moisture, magnetism, the colors that you see radiating off of bodies and stuff like this, it's not necessarily some moral judgment. If you see purple, they're so much more advanced or something. It's like here on the chart. Oh my God, I don't know why the colors are changed with this, but it's a deeper. It's purple. It's not some faint pink, and it's a more obvious pink for the emotional plane listed here. But and the colors are kind of messed up too, because typically you'd have red and
I see
red and yellow would be next to orange, but it's not. So so the rainbow is kind of mixed up here in the middle.
Okay, interesting. But
I've had experience like this system is like cut off in parts. So if you look at the whole chart, I haven't had an experience to add on to it for years, which is fine. More secret words, more words for the planes and stuff like this. But that part, a lot of that's because I study these things, and it is important that you use accuracy with the words. I don't think what you're seeing in the meaning of this chart, I would be surprised if any of the top 50 it wouldn't surprise me if there's, out of the 50 people at the top of Eckankar, the very top 50 people, I don't I'll just say the 8th initiates and on, I don't think any of them, I wouldn't be surprised if none of them know what's on this chart, that they don't know what the word of the plane, the Alehi Kala Mana Aumbaju Sigmat Stranti Hum.
Isn't that as like a requirement that you know these things, or maybe not?
They teach you these, and as you go along and the system, There's stuff that's member material, so a lot of Eckankar people are afraid to do anything except buy a book and give it to people because they're not allowed to tell the membership stuff to people.
Okay, yeah,
They're
that
told
explains
they're told you'll pay for the karma of everybody who learns the stuff from you. If anybody learns any member only material from you, then it's like this one guy. This one guy there was this book that they were giving out. The Welcome to the Wonderful World of Eck. They came up with a new membership book, and so they send it out to all the members. And this guy, he had issues. There were issues because he shared the book with somebody. He didn't think there was any. It's like I think it seemed to me like everything in the book was stuff you could figure out from the colored material. But it was a member-only book.
But it wasn't, or member-only.
Member-only book, so it was against the rules.
Okay. I mean, don't they think about the functionality of that, like, or maybe they're not really interested in people knowing the whole picture, really. I mean, it's a cult,
and they give you little tokens as you go along. It's like,
what the fuck?
After a year, they'll send you something that says you're that you've officially got your first degree. So you're not just living on Earth. That's your domain now. So you're sort of officially fully established on Earth. And then after 2 years, you can apply, and then they'll give you a second degree. And I opened my eyes, and the guy didn't put away the book quick enough when I finished. And so he's reading, he's not getting, it doesn't sound like he's getting any spiritual guidance. He's reading from a book, and he's picking a name off of a list. Now your mind leads one way or another. Maybe the spirits point you to one way or another, but you think the spirit, if you were so guided by the spirits, you think you wouldn't need the book to tell you the secret word. For the person, because everybody gets their own secret word.
They do?
Once they're a member. And then when you as you pass the degrees, they give you another secret word. And you're supposed to remember, either you receive a secret word and it becomes your secret word later if you forget, but ideally every degree you'd end up learning your secret word.
Okay, right. Okay, that's how it works. Okay.
And they give you a little pink slip. There was this idea they were going to give you a pink slip, and then an orange slip, and then a blue slip, and then a purple slip, and then a yellow slip. But they thought they might mess that up, and they might lose members that way or something if they got it wrong, because it was supposed to be entirely directed by the spiritual master, who supposedly he doesn't read the stuff. People read the papers. So
okay.
So you can kind of make the local and state leadership feel bad by writing the wrong thing in the
you can certainly make them feel bad about that,
because it's like they're not supposed to be they officially don't read it, but then they do. So they are reading these little membership reports,
but not supposed to.
But it's their job. They've been assigned to themselves. So so you're given a different rank, and there's an initiation ritual as each time as you go along, and it's like, it doesn't seem to me like the people who spent more than 5 years or have advanced any further. Now I understand if people aren't used to meditating, and they start to meditate and they try out different techniques, but by the time if they're doing the membership material and they're reading the side books that are recommended, they're probably far enough advanced that after 5 years, they're probably not going to go any further. Except in the group, they make you feel like you're going further.
Exactly. Exactly. That's the whole point.
And of course, that they're a multi-million-dollar company that sells books and builds temples and stuff like that.
You seem to know all the workings of the cult world
and the salaries. Eckankar talks about building some black pyramid in some country where you can get away with using more drugs or something. I don't know.
A black pyramid. Well, that's interesting.
I don't know. Why doesn't he just build one in his yard?
I and promote it on
he
Hollywood.
obviously
Like,
can use tools. He's been a painter.
yeah,
He can cut wood.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's
Huh.
he's not physically disabled. And
No, yeah,
particularly if he
exactly. No.
hires somebody to
Yeah,
make him a pyramid that he can meditate and hang out with a few of his
yeah,
buddies or something out there, or
yeah,
or he can build a whole. He can afford to have a whole
yeah,
house built, I think. So
yeah. I think so too. Yeah, he's selling a lot of books and, you know,
and
pretentious
the
material.
book model, Eckankar doesn't
Mm.
charge as much anywhere near as a lot of
As
these
equating.
books.
No.
Maybe they
Yeah.
don't charge the cheapest.
Okay. Yeah.
Like those 3 books that I pointed out.
Mhm.
The one year
Yeah.
I decided here are 3 books. They're going to be my new books.
Yeah.
I'm going to
Yeah.
refer back to them, but I'm going to spend
Uh-huh.
at least a month sitting down with these books and reading them clear through. So
Okay.
the book
Yeah.
we have on the screen here,
Mhm.
you
Put
know,
in the
that's part of the
charger.
graphic here.
Yep. All right, charger.
The Epistles of
Okay.
Lord Satan, you know,
Oh yeah, that's a real satanic book right there.
Postmodern Satanism by Jason King, 666.
Yeah, Jason King. Yeah, 60. Yeah.
And
He's a funny guy.
Ashimoga, am
Mhm.
I pronouncing that right?
Oh, he's a co-author, or
No, I'm listing
Okay.
each of those 3 books.
Okay, yeah. 3 books.
So
Yeah.
these books are like cheaper per page. It's obviously they more
Mhm.
than some they definitely
Yeah.
want to get the information out. It's definitely
Yeah.
out there.
Okay.
It's you know,
Yeah.
they make something, but
Mhm.
it's more
Yeah.
about getting the information out.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah. Of course. Yeah. 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 Huh.
and
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. I mean, the information that's the most important thing. So, as long as you get that out, you know. Hmm.
allow the people that's going to have the experience with your stuff have the experience with your stuff, or use it.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Unlike some cult groups, as we discussed. Yeah.
It's like one of the things I've you know, that
Yeah.
is
Mhm.
apparent. It
Yeah.
does seem apparent to me that well,
Yeah.
I think Nargargole gets credit for his influence,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
I do think that
Yeah. Of course.
people has
Mhm.
that people based on what they have.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, it's that he puts out stuff and some people
Mhm.
benefit from it more than
Yeah.
the person putting it out.
Okay.
And I think that's
Yeah. Really.
the
Yeah.
case. I think that's the case of my videos, is that some
Yeah.
of them of
Yeah.
the many types of it's like what I have,
Uh-huh.
73 playlists or something.
Yeah. Mhm.
So I don't
Yeah.
remember how many playlists I have, but I have a lot of different
Okay. Yeah.
playlists.
Probably
Um,
many.
but
Yeah.
I do notice that
Mhm.
there have been videos that it becomes
Yeah.
it's clear that somebody who watched the video at least
Mhm.
once, if not
Yeah.
repeatedly, has
Yeah.
achieved
Huh.
something more than I did by making it.
Wow.
I
Yeah.
mean,
That's an honorable intent behind a book, I must say.
and so it's like
Yeah.
it's like Nargargole comes up with a chant, and
Yeah.
I repeat it in my comment on the
Yeah.
thing, and somebody else
Yeah.
comes with the thing, or somebody else interprets the
Yeah.
thing, and
Yeah.
I mean,
Exactly.
it all goes back to Nargargole.
Yeah. The
What
individuality.
I add to it, what I add to it
Mhm.
or interpret, I get credit for that. But
Yeah. That's a good system. Yeah. 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 Wow.
and it's interesting, you know. I start
Yeah.
um
Mhm. Yeah.
and so nine again with that comes out to be a thing, and so I guess that could
Yeah.
be part of the thing there. I am
Okay.